Hello survivors, welcome back to another video. How are you today, guys? Let me know in the comments. Guys, please like the video, subscribe, because this video that I'm gonna make is gonna be super interesting and it's one of the most requested video that I have ever got, especially from spenders. And not only like, Mike, can you make a video about this? It's like, man, if I have to pay you to make the video, I pay you. But of course, I'm not here to charge you guys. I'm here to share my little knowledge that I have, just to help you. So if you wanna like somehow pay me, you can like the video, you can subscribe, and we are gonna be a big community here, because the goal is to be close to or maybe 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So let's make it happen, guys. We are gonna be a big family. So yeah, the topic for today is how can you read reports, and why it is important to read reports, because it is gonna give you an idea on whether or not you should attack that player. So yeah, you always ask me, Mike, how do you know that you're gonna beat that player? How do you know that you are not gonna lose the battle? Well, because this report is gonna tell you anything you need to know. So, but some people don't know how to read the report. You know, you have troops, you have heroes, you have gear, you have this tech stats, you have these talent stacks. How can you read all this? Well, I'm gonna just explain detail by detail what is my thought process when I'm going to hunt for resources. So first of all, guys, you have to be able to scout the players. I don't recommend you, unless you are a top spender, to just roll the dice with that player, because if you go for BP, which is what most of the top spenders do, sometimes you might be able to push through because you are super strong. But as a free-to-play player, that's a bad idea, because when everybody's doing the capital, the state versus the state, everybody has troops in hospital, enlistments, and of course the BP is not gonna reflect how strong that player really is. So that player might have very good stats but very few troops, because he got like hit by a top spenders, or he just like killed a lot of troops attacking other people, or in the capital, blah blah blah. And then yeah, you are gonna run into a wall because you are thinking like that player was super weak because he has like a very few or a very low BP. But actually, BP didn't reflect how strong that player was in terms of stats. I already made a video about that, BP versus stats. So if you cannot scout the player, I don't recommend you to attack it. As a free-to-play player, if you are an spender, the way you scout, by the way, is just attacking players. So I don't have to tell you anything, because I have seen these videos, and the way they scout people is literally just like sending a march. And then if you lose, okay, yeah, I might be able to push through, and if they don't lose, they just keep hammering that player. So yeah, spenders don't have a problem with this. Free-to-play players, scout. Don't be dumb and attack people that you don't even know what they got inside. They may be reinforced, they have good stats but very few troops, blah blah blah. So once you get the report, there are a few things that you have to look for. Now, before going into the most important things, like for example hero gear and troops, guys, you have to know, or you have to have an idea on how you are ranking with these numbers, because this is actually gonna help you. This is gonna give you an understanding on how difference in powers, or how strong you are comparing to the player that you want to attack, and whether or not you're gonna be able to beat the player. So here you have the tech stats, and you have to have an idea on how strong you are in these ones. For example, for me, for infantry attack, infantry health, infantry defense, infantry lethality, I'm around the 108%. For hunter, 87%. For rider, like 87% as well. Troop attack health, like 40 something. For health, 30 something. And then for troop defense and lethality, like 32 or something. I don't remember the exact number from the top of my head, but they are super close to what I'm saying now. And how do you know that? Well, you just ask one of the players in your state to scout you for fun, or just as a favor, and then just share the screenshot via Discord, and then you have an idea. The same with the talents. For example, here with the talents, let's see another report. You can have an idea whether this player is in war mode, or that player is in a combination of like war mode and eco mode, or that player is using econ mode, and once you like see the tech stats and the troops and heroes, it is gonna give you a very clear idea whether you can push through that player or not. So first of all, know your stats. You have to know, for example, how strong you are in tech stats, and then you have to know how to read talents stats. So, and this is very easy, guys. When a guy is like in war mode with the talents, you're gonna see like troop attack in terms of infantry attack, infantry lethality, infantry defense, and lethality plus 25%. For example, this player, you see, it has like 13%, like 4.9%, 13%. This player has a combination of war mode and econ mode, because it is not super zero with infantry attack and stuff, but at the same time it's not as high as if you were like prioritizing just war mode. If we go to other report, for example this one, you see this player is like 3.9%, 3.9%. This player is even like less in war mode and more in econ mode. Some players has like a combination of like econ and war, because they want to have a good march capacity, but at the same time they want to like do construction and do like reductions in research. And usually the players that I have like half and half, they don't know how to play like a super good the game. So it also gives you an idea on how or what type of player you are dealing with. Now we go to another report here, for example, this one. So you see, when a player is like full war mode, you are gonna see a stat like 37 like plus, 25 plus. In my case, it's 38.7, I guess, 38.5 for infantry lethality. So because I'm in full war mode, but if a player is not in full war mode, you're gonna find like, for example, this one, 13.9, because they are sharing talents in econ and in war mode. If we go to another player, for example, this player like didn't even like use their talents. If we go here, this player one more time, 37.9, like 26.5. So this player is prioritizing like war mode actually, but mostly like infantry attack and then some rider attack. If we go to another one here, so that player is just prioritizing infantry health, but it is not full war mode. It's maybe sharing talents with like econ and war. So you have to have a knowledge of how to read these reports. Now, this is not the most important part of the reading of the reports, but it is gonna give you an idea. If you are doubting about whether to attack the player or not based on what you see here, once you go here and you see the difference or the discrepancy between your tech stats and your talent stats, for example, this player is not like in war mode, it's completely in econ, you are gonna see like, oh yeah, maybe I can beat this player. We are close in heroes and troops, but if we see our tech stats, I'm way ahead, because look at this player has 75% and I have like 108% and blah 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm trying to tell? So yeah, you have to have an idea. Now, this is the first part, and it's already 8 minutes on this video, or maybe less. And yeah, so this is the overview, you know. Okay, you already know how to read numbers. The amount of troops is easy to see. You already know what gear is, you know the heroes, and you know the tier level of the troops. But maybe you didn't know this, and this is important. So yeah, now, how do I know? You know, once I see that, whether I should attack the player or not. Well, the first thing that I see, guys, is the amount of troops. And actually, I'm assuming that you are scouting players within your level. For example, if you are like Plasma 5 for state versus state, you are only gonna be able to attack like Plasma 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if a player has, and this is like a rule of thumb for me, like 5 times the amount of infantry that I can march per march, I'm not attacking that player, even if that player is super weak. Or not super weak, but if that player has like less stats than me. Because usually, if that player has 5 times the amount of infantry that I have, which is per march, I march like 100,000 infantry per march, and that player has like, let's say, 5,000, 5,500 oh no, 550,000 like infantry troops, that player is gonna have around the same amount of, even more, of like riders and hunters. And of course, that player is just gonna have more than 1.6, almost 2 million troops. And even if that player has like very low stats, I'm not gonna be able to push through that. And this is a clear example. So if I go here, for example, I go 1.6 millions, okay, you see the troops and you see, well, it might be a plasma 2 troops. It might have very, very good heroes, or maybe like very, very bad heroes. So I open here and I say 1.6 millions. I go to infantry. Well, that player has like 500,000 infantry and I'm marching 100,000, so 5 times the amount of infantry. Well, that's already enough for me. But let's say that that player has like a very shitty euros and very shitty gear. So you have to evaluate that. If I go here, I see, oh no, this player has Hank. A Hank is just one generation down from the generation we are now, and then has Tina, and then has Cardini. And if you go here, it has like some like golden gear or orange gear. And that player knows what he's doing because he's prioritizing infantry and he's prioritizing like hunter, and rider is just like a purple gear. So good infantry, good prioritization of like infantry and hunter, like decent gear, decent amount of troops. I'm not attacking that player because I'm gonna lose the battle. It's gonna take me a few attacks until I can push through that player. So that player, I'm leaving alone that player. If I move into the next one, for example, I see here, oh, this player is a plasma 4. The troops tier is very close to the one that I have. I'm a plasma 5. Now, okay, yeah, if I go to the amount of infantry, almost 5 or more than five times the amount of infantry that I can march per march. And that player knows what he's doing because he's prioritizing one more time infantry gear. And then Hank is just one more time. It's not a super old hero. It's a new hero, relatively talking. Cardini as well, and Grim as well. They are not super old. Purple gear, I have purple gear for my rider. I have like golden gear for my infantry. My strongest hero is Hank as well. And yeah, his rank is not bad because you can see here, for example, it's level 50, it's major. His stats might not be super high, but it's 1.6 millions, 5 times the amount of infantry that I can march. And if we go here, for example, my infantry attack in the tech stat is 108%. This guy has 87%. We are almost close. If we go to the troop attack, mine is 40 something. This player had 35. So it is not that far. This player is in war mode because you see his talents, 37%. I'm at 38%. So it's a very bad idea for me to try to attack this player because I'm gonna lose the battle 100%. Now let's see a successful attack, for example, here. Let's see this one. Yeah. Oh no, I think the first attack was this one. Yeah. So for example, I scout this player.